Hi guys, welcome back. So today we've got this 996 Carrera 4S in for a VF Engineering Supercharger kit. But before we jump into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, also notification bell, and you won't miss if our new videos go live. So we're taking this 996 Carrera 4S and adding a VF Engineering Supercharger kit. So we're going from naturally aspirated to boosted, so putting some compressed air through the engine to increase the power output considerably. So these usually make around about 320 PS, and then with the supercharger kit they go up to above Turbo S and X50 pack power levels, which is obviously quite impressive for an originally naturally aspirated car. So what we're going to do, we're going to dyno the car standard, see how much power it makes, and we're going to get the car in the workshop, talk through the supercharger kit, get that installed, back on the dyno, start tuning the car. So yeah, we're going to get the car on the dyno and we'll see you in the workshop. Okay, so we've got the Porsche on the ramps behind us. Obviously we started to remove some of the original parts like the exhaust system and some of the engine bay parts, and also off of the front end as well. Found a few things that we need to rectify before we progress to the supercharger kit, but we also have the supercharger kit out here in front of us, so we're just going to talk you through it. So obviously it's a VF Engineering Supercharger kit, so converting it from naturally aspirated to supercharged. So we've got a few of the parts here. We've got like the supercharger, charge cooler, reservoir, radiator, water pump, and a couple of other parts which aren't necessarily here to install the kit, but these are sort of like the highlights of what you need to install like a supercharger kit. So obviously the main talking point is the supercharger itself. Obviously it's not a turbo. Turbo generates its boost pressure from exhaust gases. So the way that a supercharger is different is that the way this creates this boost pressure, or it's driven rather, is by the like crank pulley. So the RPM is basically, or the revolutions or the boost is basically fixed to the engine RPMs, which is also why sort of like as the revs increase, there's more like boost pressure. And this is also it's not a Roots type supercharger, so it's a centrifugal supercharger. So as the RPMs increase, the boost pressure also increases nicely as well. So it gives you a nice amount of sort of like top end power with these cars. So with the VF kit, there's a few other parts to drive this that we have to install to adapt it, like reroute the belt system slightly, which is pretty easy work. They've done a really nice kit with this. We've got the different intake pipe with the K&N filter with a different MAF housing on here. So that's going to allow the supercharger to breathe quite easily. And then to keep the compressed air cool, we need to install something to keep it cool. So we've got the charge cooler. So this is a air to water system. So basically the compressed air will go through here. Well, first of all, the fresh air, as it goes through the supercharger and gets compressed, it starts to heat up. So then you need to cool it down. And that's what happens with the charge cooler. So the air basically travels through here, and in the center you've got an air to water heat exchanger, which basically extracts heat from the hot charge air, and then that is then fed to the CSF heat exchanger, which is in the front of the vehicle, and this basically cools the water that's keeping the charge air cool. So obviously if we keep the charge air as cool as possible, it's going to be as dense as possible, it's going to have as much oxygen as possible inside it, and also it's going to prevent the engine from sort of like knocking as well. And then in the front end of the vehicle, you've got the reservoir for the coolant, which runs through these two systems. You've got the water pump as well, which is obviously crucial. And then we have like the belt and then the hex flash tuning cable. So we custom tune this car with VF Engineering to optimize the fuel and ignition, all those other bits, so that you get optimum power for obviously our conditions and the fuel that we use over here. So yeah, we're gonna get all this fitted to the car and see at the end of the video. So as we were going through the supercharger installation and installing the front radiator and the reservoir, obviously we took the bumper off to do all that work and revealed the factory radiators on the left hand side and the right hand side. And the one on the right hand side, as you sit in the car, is unfortunately leaking. So it's failed, and it's quite a common problem on these cars. And basically what happens is generally down in the corners where the plastic crimped end tanks onto the cores, it basically splits open, like decays quite quickly because of like thermal expansion. You also get a lot of debris like leaves and things like that going down there, and also some impact as well. So that's unfortunately failed, and what that means is it's leaking coolant. Obviously you've seen that, and what we're going to do, we're going to use this opportunity to, as there's something flying on my face, upgrade to the CSF radiators. So these are all aluminium high performance radiators. They solve all the problems that the factory radiators have, and they're basically all aluminium. So the core is aluminium as well as the end tanks. End tanks are TIG welded onto the cores, and the cores are a really high efficiency core. They're nice and strong, quite lightweight as well. I'm going to give the customer the cooling headroom he needs with like the supercharger kit, especially on sort of like those hot summer days. And obviously it's not going to fail in the same way. So yeah, we're going to get these fitted and carry on with the supercharger install. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to watch other videos of ours that YouTube thinks you'll like, then click up here. If you'd like to watch some other videos that we have in the same playlist, then click here. And obviously if you enjoyed the video, then we really appreciate if you gave us a subscription. And then obviously you'll be updated when other videos of ours go live, and you can do that quite easily by clicking here. Hope to see you soon.